Hey guys, welcome to the Coffee and Coaching Podcast. I am Coach Kamara.
I'm Coach Jack G. We hope you enjoy today's episode. We hope you take a lot of value away from it, and we might even make you laugh a little bit.
We started this podcast to help empower and inspire you to take control and create the life that you want to lead.
But remember, everything we say is our opinion. We're not medical professionals. So if we talk about anything that you want to implement into your life, please go and speak to your doctor first.
If you enjoy the episode and you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe, share it with anyone that you think might take value from it. And if you can share it on your social media, it would be massively, massively appreciated.
That's enough of that. Let's get into today's epised.
Right, Martin, do you want to explain to everyone why you've come on the podcast called Coffee and Coaching and you don't drink coffee?
Oh, I can't drink it. Don't like any hot drinks.
No?
Don't drink tea, don't drink coffee. The only hot drink I'll drink is Bovril.
Lad, you should have.
Okay, so
You failed here as a podcast host because I didn't even know this was a thing.
What, like that I didn't like coffee or
This
that?
is
It was
good.
a thing of like anyone.
No one should be on this podcast if they're not drinking coffee. Like,
this is good. Remember I said we need to get out the echo chamber? We're out the echo chamber, he doesn't drink coffee. However, that has highlighted that we're missing a question. So before we start any podcast now, we obviously send out some
coffee?
questions to guests. Yeah, saying, do you like coffee?
We'll just have to focus on the coaching part.
Yeah, or do you like...
at least there's a little bit of
But
caffeine.
we don't know
in
nothing
there.
about that bit.
He's got he's got a Coke, so there's a bit of caffeine in it.
Yeah,
Oh, caffeine's good.
So
Just not hot caffeine.
just not. I like chilled carbonated caffeine.
right. So also this week we've got a new coffee shop. Well, it's not new actually. We've had it before on the podcast, haven't we? But we normally go to 92. Relationships deteriorated significantly with 92 degrees of the
We
last
broke up.
couple of
Unfollowed them.
yeah.
Blocked them
Have you
on.
actually-
Blocked them on WhatsApp.
Well, I never followed them in the first place.
No, I never followed them really, but I'm just trying to take this. We went to Ditto, and this was, I was telling Mark before when we just come out about the guy. This was the guy that weighed all the beans out when we had the podcast.
Did he do it this time?
It wasn't him this time,
No.
and I didn't say nothing this time because I'm not a fucking knobhead. I am a massive knobhead. I just held it in that particular moment.
Last time he went in, he mentioned that he's about to go and record a podcast called Coffee and Coaching, and the guy was like, "Oh shit!" and started making us. Got all like the weighing scales out and the fucking little spoon.
So I got her to do me a single, and she was like, "Well, we normally do like a double as standard, like a double espresso." And I was like, "Can you do a single? Like, I just want to taste it."
Yeah.
I didn't really say that, but I thought that, and I was like, "Oh, can you just do a single?" And she was like, "We can." So I've done it. Nice, mate.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. Yeah.
Nice.
The house blend.
Which have you already drunk that?
So I've had the espresso. I haven't tried
I thought it was
espresso
a bit
was
heavy
nice.
that he got a coffee to have before his coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a tasting coffee.
Proper caffeine fiend.
Yeah. It was a coffee. It was a taster.
And a double coffee at that.
Yeah.
So if the espresso is nice, the latte will be nice, won't it?
Yeah. You can't really fuck a latte.
Because basically, if you fuck an espresso up, it becomes a latte.
Yeah.
If you make an espresso and it's shit, you go, that's a latte.
And you add milk to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's an Americano. Just put more water in it. Oh, that's dead weak. Americano. So Ditto could be the one, you know. Plus they've got like nice food in there. I didn't get anything, but the food looks all right. So it's
Well,
right.
I think
Ditto.
I got a latte ages ago. You know when you did that was that the half marathon?
Yeah.
I was walking into town that day, I can't remember why. And I got one from there. And it was nice.
Smashed it.
Have you got
I've got
almond
same
milk
almonds. Yeah, because
fucking lactose muppet?
yeah, I'm allergic to cows.
Oh, yeah?
Just their boobs. I can eat their meat. I just can't drink from the teat. Man's gone a bit cold now, but
It's a little bit
nice when
cold,
it was
but
hot.
no, it's nice.
Yeah.
The texture's nice of the milk. Lovely. Right, so Martin, do you want to explain to everyone who the hell you are, what you do?
So, Martin, obviously, as you just said, but I'm an online coach right now, and I work predominantly like 95% just with teachers, and that just comes from a background of being a teacher myself. Like I was a teacher, primary school teacher in the classroom for like 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I just was like, do you know what? I fancy a little bit of a change. I'm going to give online, well, it was one-to-one coaching at the time, like a little bit, see what it was like. really enjoyed it, carried on, went like, do you know what? I'm going all in on this. Could always fall back on supply. Started that in the January. All gyms got locked down in the February. And I went from December being like...
That's literally what happened to me. That January is when I started online and I was like, oh, fuck.
But I went December, full-time gig, like dead stable, to February, basically unemployed. I was like...
Ruthless.
Fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I just thought at the time, do you know what? You've got two choices here. You can sit and wallow and be like, I'm the unluckiest man in the world. Or you can like build and build and build. And it actually got to a point by the time the second lockdown happened, I was like, I'm not even going back. Like I'm just fully online now. And I just love it.
Yeah.
Love everything about it.
What is it that you love about it?
Do you know what? I think it's just the fact, I think when you're a one-to-one coach, even though you provide a lot outside the sessions, or if you're a good coach, you should be texting, checking up, building everything else. It's 95%, isn't it? Like in that hour, that's when they're focused on it. That's when they kind of come for it. We're online. It's that relationship all the time. You're there when they need you rather than this is your slot. Because unless you're a complete newbie to the gym, like you don't need someone standing next to you going, right. Yeah, that was good. You did 9 there rather than 10. Do you know, like once you've got past the actual, like this is how this moves, this is what that is, you don't need to be there with them. And I find after a while, you just end up having someone there that you just having a little catch up once a week. To like keep them a little bit motivated. Where online, I think you get those real changes because like we delve into now like sleep, like stress levels, like everything, like all about it. Like we did a webinar a couple of weeks ago just on like how much phones just like drain your energy. Like, you know, they're there to just like pull you in and suck you in all night. So it's like building a structure and routine like that. Never would have done that on the gym floor. Never would have been like, let's look at how we can rearrange your front home screen. Like they'd be like, nah, watch me lift these weights.
I like it because it's like, you might have spoke about that with a client one-to-one, but it's not in a structured fashion. You end up repeating yourself 100,000 times with all your different clients. Like, oh, you should do this with your phone, or you do this before, like get off your phone at whatever time in the evening. You help them do it. But like if you can just create a webinar to send everyone, and then it's just everyone gets the same information. Because I used to find sometimes I'd forget if I've already spoken and had this conversation with someone about sleep or about stress or about whatever, and I'm like, wait, have we already spoken about this? But like when you've got just a live, so on my website now there's just a library of just loads and loads and loads of fucking webinars and educational content where everyone just works through in an order, and it's just like now I feel like online I can actually deliver more. And it's, first of all, it's cheaper and I can deliver more to you than I could one-to-one.
Do you know what I think's good though as well? Everyone like there, everyone gets the same information off you. Where I can guarantee like one-to-one, you're going to start at 6 a.m. You're going to start at 6 a.m. Probably going to finish about 9, 10 p.m. That person on that slot, like 8 till 9 or 9 till 10 is just getting, it was good that.
But we were saying this last week. It's like there were times where we used to do one-to-ones and we'd be fucked. We're doing like 60, 70 sessions a week. Maybe not 70. I think the most I pushed was like
about 70 hours, wasn't it? It wasn't 70 sessions though.
Well,
fucking gross.
It was just
every time you mention that, I just go, why?
It's disgusting. But there were times where like you were just so fucked. Like you'd selectively allow your attention to dwindle at the moments in the session where they weren't needed. And then as the intensity of the set increased, and they were getting to the point where you actually need them to, or they actually need you to like come in with some motivation or whatever, the risk for injury is going up because you're
the Prowler was the Prowler was the best one for me because like
as they were
going away from us, we could sit. You could just like quickly lean against the wall and just go.
I'd be like, oh
fuck me, I'm so tired. Yes, you turn around. Come on, let's go. Yes, get up. Turn around again. Oh, fucking God, I'm so tired.
Well, do you know what? I always think like that. Like James Smith always talks about, like, you know, when they do the burner at the end of the session, he always says, if a PT does a burner at the end of the session, it's because he hasn't got the confidence to say that your sessions done and like it's only 50 minutes rather than an hour. And I think that's not like, it's that you're really tired and you're like, do you know what? I can set a little hip thing up where I can just lean against this wall and go, yeah, carry on. Yeah, keep going.
For us, it was, I mean, in the gym we worked with, there was like, this is the session you're doing today because it's this week, this session. But then a lot of the time it'd be like, you get someone in and they just go through the session really quickly.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to talk between sets. They don't really want to ask any questions. They just want to come in and do the session. Mm-hmm. So you'd be like 30 minutes into a 45-minute session and be like... And it was always the clients who were like the owner of an investment company who like wants exactly 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you have to be on time. They are getting 45 to the minute, otherwise you're getting pulled on it, which is fine. Like that's what you paid for, like sound.
Yeah.
But some people won't pull you on that. Whereas like people like those high people used to get in would be like, we've got a minute left. Like, and like someone would see me like, we've got a minute left. And I'd be like, right, okay. Air squats, 60 seconds, go. Like, so a lot of it was that at the end, wasn't it? It was like, shit, we've got fucking 10 minutes left. Fuck, okay. Prowler. Well, something else grows.
I actually used to never ever finish early. I always used to have to focus on not going over.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing with one-to-one. I felt like there's so much stuff I want to get across to you in the session.
Yeah.
Like, and we've got like a 1 minute period in between sets. We start the conversation and next minute, like, wait, fuck, go. And then you start the conversation and it's just broken conversation throughout the session. Like,
they don't care. They don't assimilate the information as well. You know, as a teacher, like if you're doing something
completely different,
if you're doing one thing, like they're trying to learn a leg extension, and then you're trying to explain the intricacies of a diet to them at the same time, and they've got no concept of food other than that's what I like and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's even then, it's just pure tiredness as well. Yeah. Like something like a squat, like you need that minute to recover afterwards because you're done. Like you don't need to think like, what do you have for your lunch? I don't know. Like, just let me sit here.
Just let me fucking get me fucking.
You've just fucking murdered me on the leg press. Like, get the fuck away from me asking me questions about my diet.
I can't see at the minute. Like, I need my vision back.
I feel like I might throw up. I couldn't give a fuck about what you've just said.
Martin, I know obviously you've just gone and told us that you went full time in December and then lockdown happened. Can you expand on some of the mental challenges that you experienced at that point?
Do you know what? It was definitely hard. It was such a big one because I think like going from like a career job to like going self-employed anyway is a bit of a risk. But I always used to have in the back of my mind, do you know, it's all right because I'm a decent teacher. All I'll do is, doesn't work out, go back on supply. Work my way through schools, someone will be like, he's good, let's give him a job. So it's like, I've always got a safety net. I'll never be unemployed. And then like, it was like, you know, when do the schools ever shut?
Yeah.
Turns out just after I give up my job. So that was like a real like, oh my God, what am I going to do here? But it was almost like realizing like that I could do one or two things. I could sit and wallow and just be in a little like Netflix like hole, just watching everything. Or I could give myself like a little bit of purpose. So I just thought, you know what? I haven't got any online clients. I haven't got anything. All the clients I had one-to-one, I just texted them all and was like, listen, I do it for free while COVID's on for two reasons. One, when it come back, I wanted that first time round, like everyone to come back. And I didn't lose. I think I'm one of the only PTs that ever didn't lose a client in that first lockdown.
Nice.
They all come back and I ended up with 5 more.
Nice.
Come to a gym and they were like, oh, no one's booking in. And I was like, I'm full.
Nice.
But it was more to give me that purpose. It wasn't like, it was like, so I was checking in with them. Yeah. I was using that to share on my stories. I was putting loads out there. I think I was cranking out like 3 posts a day, like really like smashing it that way, doing free Facebook groups. And it just got to a point where I blinked and I was like, oh shit. Like, this is what I like doing. This is what I want to do. And it's successful. Like, I just always joke now with like all my mates, all my family, that I'm like, I've just got to figure out how to keep this going for the next 30 years.
And you'll be flying.
Yeah.
Was that an immediate, as soon as lockdown happened, there was an immediate transition to that, or did you have a week where you're like, oh fuck?
A day. I had like the night it happened, I was just like inconsolable. No one speak to me. Like I'm in this room by myself, sulking. And then I was just like, the next day I was like, right, okay, I can't sulk. Like I've got to do something. And like I was like, do you know what? I'll go for it. And I think I was quite lucky with it. I think I was unlucky in the way that it felt like just as I was going for it, but I'd also saved up some dough. So I was like, just for the beginning when it's a bit ropey, I've got this money, so I could use that money to not be like, I didn't have any panics about like bills. I was like, because I had safety money in case. And like, since then it just grew and grew that way. But it was a day I was like, right, I can either, remember thinking like the day after, I can either go for this, and if it doesn't work out, then I just try and get a job again, teaching job, or I can sit and wallow for like however long this lasts, which I was thinking like a month at the time.
It'll blow over.
A few weeks, 2 years later.
Sit and wallow for a month, or like I can like have no regrets and be like, do you know what, I'll give that my all. And yeah, after about 3 weeks, I think I was like, oh, like clients weren't coming in yet, but I was like, do you know what, I'm getting a lot of traction here. I did a free Facebook group, and everyone was saying like, and I think that's why sometimes in coaching you just got to follow your gut rather than everyone else. Everyone was saying, do a 5-day group, do a 5-day group, do a 5-day group. And I thought, everyone's doing a 5-day group, I'll do a 21-day group. And I got, I think it was 800 people in a free 21-day group.
Sick.
And I got a few off it, not as many as you think, because it lasted. It did last too long for that, but at the time I needed my name out there. And I got 800 people to share me on their story for like three weeks, like constantly.
Sick. Boss. Do you feel like although obviously it's a very stressful situation, this is what I feel about lockdown for me, and you know, you said it the same, like a very stressful situation, but the pressure that you were under, because you've got no security now, do you feel like that drove you to?
I think it did, yeah. I think it gave me that kind of, right, you've got to do this. And then once it started coming, and once I got kind of a routine and a structure around it, I almost started to enjoy it, because I thought, you know what, like everything you've learned, everything like you should implement, this is the only time you've got to implement it. I know like my barber was the same. I was chatting to him and he said it was a killer lockdown being on, but he got to decorate like his free barber shops. He got to read it. He got to do a booking thing, and he was like, he did all the stuff that he could do because he had 6 months to do it. Like, and I think that's the same. If I was doing that one-to-one, I wouldn't have learned, I don't think I'd have learned how Zoom worked. Never mind use it for webinars. Do you know what I mean? But now, like, the systems, the structure, everything that's in place is because I had days where I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to learn this today.
Do you know, E.T. said on one of his podcasts recently, he said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Which is
like,
sick.
I'm reading, what's his name? I always go straight to Grant Cardone, not Grant Cardone, the other guy, big American public speaker.
Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm reading his second money book, the one on like investing, and he's talking about like investment psychology, and everything they're talking about in that is like, when the markets crash, when it's terrible, when there's a crisis, that's the best time to buy, because everything's the cheapest. Like Warren Buffett's like, I look forward to those big dips and the big like world events.
Well, I've been waiting for these for like 3 years, because it's about to happen for like the last 3 years, and like sounds, I just hold off, and when it happens, you go and buy. It's like, so there's always good in every shit situation, isn't it? You just got to find it. It's like the people who wallowed for more than a day, made nothing of that crisis.
Well, for me, like, I didn't. So I was working with Steve McGrath at the time, and he already had the online side of his business set up. It was online coaching. That's why I was with him, to figure out what the fuck to do. Like, how do you run an online business? I don't know. Like, I'm a PT. but was like, I think I'd done the same thing as like, oh, we'll be back in a couple of months. And because I was in a gym that doesn't exist anymore, it was just it was a private gym.
Yeah.
Or like an independent gym, sorry. They were letting us in. So I still had all my in-person clients. So we were just still going to the gym in lockdown. Like, and we just turn up every day, and they were all like 90. I think about 90% of my clients were just like, if you're happy coming in the gym, we're happy coming in the gym. And I did that for too long, rather than going,
yeah,
okay. It probably would have been better for the online side of my business for it to have gone 0 in-person clients.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it kind of like, oh, we can get in the gym today, we can't get in the gym. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And then there was a point where it was like, now you've not got any. And it was like 6 months in when everyone else had done the transition online. And then I was like, right, okay, now I need to fucking
And I think
catch
that
up.
makes the thing of like, it's the perfect thing of like not judging everything at the minute. Because if you went back in time there, and you went, okay, we're both one-to-one coaches, the gyms are shut, and I can't coach anyone anymore. You've the ability to still coach all your clients.
Yeah.
You go, God, he's so lucky.
Yeah.
But then
Mad,
afterwards, you're like, he was lucky that he couldn't.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Like, that's why, like, I always say, like, I've got no regrets.
Yeah.
Because, like, you made that decision in that moment with all the information you had.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you? And that's it. You could look at someone else, but
it shows you for like anything, any decision that happens, anything that happens, where you can think, oh, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. There'll always be like different paths you can go with anything.
yeah.
And I think that's what lockdown is definitely showing for like everyone.
100%.
So we asked you some questions at the start, and one of them that I really want to ask you about is, you mentioned that one of the things that people don't know about you is you struggle with your own relationship with food.
Yeah. And do you know what's interesting? I don't think, like, don't get me wrong, like most PTs, most people who go into online coaching, you either started really fat or you started really skinny. And it was your own body confidence and stuff like that. But I think what was interesting, and I didn't realise it till lockdown, until opening myself to new experiences, was that even though I'd sorted my eating habits, where they got my body to where I wanted it to be and stuff like that, I don't know whether my eating habits were any healthier when I was fit to what they were when I wasn't. They were probably healthier when I was nailing the Dominoes every week.
Yeah.
Because I had these rules, these structures around food that I just wouldn't let go. And I'd feel guilty about it if I didn't do it. You know, if I ate when I shouldn't, or I had this and that. And during lockdown, I think what was good was, as I was building online, because I was building online, I was looking at webinars, I was bringing people in, I was getting them in for these talks and everything like that. And I was listening to some of the stuff they'd say, and I was thinking, shit. I think a perfect example is, I reckon I went from 22 to 30 with a rule of can't have chocolate in the house, can't have crisp in the house, because if they're in, I'll eat them. Yeah. And had like a guest speaker in, and they were talking about it all, and they were like, one of the worst things you can do is ever just like keep it all out the house, because then you're letting it have this power over you, and then when you have it, you're wolfing it down because you don't get another chance. And I was thinking, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have a healthy relationship with food. Like, if I have a takeaway, I was really guilty about it. Yeah. If I went out for like a couple of bevies, I'd be like I go watch Everton on the aways all the time, and I'd be in Asda the night before, and I would be able to tell you by the end of the Asda trip the calories in every bottle of spirits. And I'd pick the bottle of spirits that was the lowest calories, rather than just the one I wanted to drink. Yeah. And the difference would be 20 calories for a full litre bottle. And I'd be like, nah, that one. Yeah. And I think that's a part of the fitness industry that just gets neglected. It's like, they're in shape, they'll do that, look how good they are. And you think there's so many things that, like, 90% of the coaches, I reckon, have more food issues than the people that are coaching.
Especially in bodybuilding.
Yeah. I think it's the part of the fitness industry that's the least spoken about, the most ignored, and the least like educated on. The people who've got the least education around, like in terms of coaches. Like I had a conversation in the gym I'm at now, like a week or so ago. One of the PTs talking to their client, and he was chatting. She was like, "Oh, I'm going out for a meal tonight," and this is the PT. She's like, "Oh, I'm going out for a meal tonight, but don't say nothing though, because I'm supposed to be on a diet." It's like, I was like, you're just training, and I heard it, and I was like, what? And I'm like proper listening to the conversation. She said it a couple of times. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight because we're going on holiday, blah, 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 blah. So I shouldn't really be going out for a meal tonight. And I was like, what? Like, what's your client now going to think? That they have to now do that when
they said that to their client?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So I was like,
Jesus Christ.
And they obviously don't see
I thought you
that
said
as an issue.
They were saying that to their mate.
No,
First
they said
of all,
that
that's unprofessional as fuck. on just a straight full stop. But then,
but obviously that just highlights.
She's so unaware of her own problems. She's now putting that up onto her client. So her client's gonna, as you just said, is gonna start thinking, right, well, if I want to lose weight, I can't go for a meal. Got to restrict myself on anything that I enjoy ever. I can't enjoy the foods that I want. And then he's going to think that they have to now hide it.
See that post you put on your story yesterday? I can never remember his name. Sadiq.
Yeah.
That's the name. And it was just the guys holding hands and them all raiding the pitch. And it was like the barrier to entry for being a personal trainer.
It was basically just some people trying to stop pitch invaders.
I've seen the picture. He just walks on.
Yeah, and he just walks past. And just said the barrier to entry for fitness professionals.
Do you know what it is? I always remember, like, I only did my PT qualification like 4 years ago, and I actually, funny enough, only really first got that to enhance my own, and then realised that you don't learn anything on it.
No,
like,
not at all.
But the thing, bear in mind, like, qualification in primary school teaching, and the woman was like, you need to do this test first to see what your English and maths levels are at. And I was like, do I need to do this? Like, I've literally just come from a classroom where I've been teaching kids, like, I think this, and she was like, it's a legal requirement. And I was like, all right. And the maths test was so easy that I was worried that I was getting, like, I'm missing something here. To the point I was remember, 5 cars were in a line, and the yellow car was over the finish line, and it said which car won the race.
Fuck off.
And I was like, I was looking at it, and I was like, there's got to be more to this question, like than the yellow one. And I caught out the corner of my eye, like coming up was like a TV guide, and I caught out the corner of my eye, year 5 teacher. We get them start getting them ready for SATs in year 5. I'm thinking, right, okay, that's going to be there. In my head, I'm just thinking, so that's going to be one about like, this is on them, what's this? And blah, blah, this one's missing. Looked at it, and it just basically said like, what time's EastEnders on a Tuesday? And I was like, what? They're like 7:30. Like, why is this? And the level was like that basic.
Fucking and that was for just to get you in to be able to do the...
So that was to make sure that you didn't need any additional support while you were doing it. Like that, like,
oh my God.
But I was
on
like,
the Zoom call. Hi, yeah, we just need to do a test before we get you in, just to check you don't need any support. Can you hold your hand up for me? Yeah, right. Can you count how many fingers are on your hand, please? 1,
that's heavy,
9, 11. Shit, no, I've got it wrong. No, let me try again.
What was the other one? Like, I remember doing the in practice one, and Gail, like, assessing went, before you start, just give you like a little like tip. And I was like, okay, this will be like good. She went, don't give the client any exercises that you can't do. And I was like, what? And she was like, well, like, if the client can't do it, it's fine, but I have to mark down if you can't do it. And she was like, for example, if you can't do a pull-up, don't put it on the plan. And I thought, what, like, male PT is becoming a PT and can't do a pull-up? Like, not like, fair enough, like a set where it's like, right, do 50 of them or do this, but one.
Demo one single pull-up for me. Like, that's all I need you to do.
And she was like, like, can you do pull-ups? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, we'll be fine. I was like, I'm not going to put them on though, because my mate can't do pull-ups.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting here for like while he like dangles for a bit.
It's okay if the client can't do it and you still put on the program.
Yeah.
What?
What a choice of exercise. I mean, if it was like a really complex Olympic lift, like don't teach them a snatch.
Yeah.
Because they've never been to the gym before. Be like, yeah, okay, great. I won't put that in. Put a pull-up.
It's just a shambles. I think there actually should be a degree.
Should be a degree.
It should be a degree.
I've just applied for the...
You should be able to get a degree in personal training or coaching.
Like the stuff that's covered in the Mac Nutrition, the Mac University Nutrition course should be part of your PT call. And then there should be like the stuff that's within sports science that applies to actual personal training should be within it as well, shouldn't it? Like you should come out...
100%.
You should come out with a degree and have a just think how much money between us we've spent in the past like 2 or 3 years to learn very little. Do you know what I mean? Like we know a lot, but there's a lot we don't know as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that was all after being qualified. So that was all a choice to go and learn that stuff. Like we could have done this job without any of that. I've been shit at it, but
there's so much responsibility that we have as coaches, and if you
I
don't
think
have
more
the
of it,
level,
like the easiest bit, which is the only bit which gets trained, is movement. Don't get me wrong, I know you used to go into a lot more technically, I'd say, than I do. Like, you know, the actual like hinges and stuff with people. But that's the bit that, as long as you know the basics of, you can't really get wrong.
Yeah.
But then it is the stuff like food.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing about food on the training qualifications apart from basically, I remember the nutrition quiz that I did like to pass was basically every question was, if they do something right, you're not licensed to do this. It was like, if your client says they want help with their nutrition, do you A, make them a meal plan, B, and then the last one was always remind them that you're not qualified and they should seek out advice from a professional. And it was like, D. And then the last one was, if you're advising your client a healthy snack, what would you pick? The banana, it was the apple, the chocolate bar, the bag of crisp, or the slice of pizza. And I was thinking, it depends what calories they've got left. But I was like, it's the apple.
It's
like, you know.
That's what pissed me off the most, because I felt like I knew more than the person who wrote the test.
Yeah.
So like I just had to choose the correct answer for what their limited brain is put on the exam, if that makes sense.
Well, I feel like Mike Israel nailed it. And have you ever seen his talk to like Gen Pop about like basic nutrition?
His TED talk.
Is it a TED talk? I thought it was I think I seen it in like a conference in a it was in like a university or something. And I say that I use this with people all the time. I said it to a lad who's just signed up with me yesterday on the call. I was like, your level of understanding of food is where it needs to be. Like you don't really need to know much more. If I show you a McDonald's and I show you a chicken salad and I say which one of those is going to help you with your goals right now, you know.
Yeah.
If you look at water and you look at Coke, which one's probably going to be the better choice? You know, like most of the things you've got a fairly decent understanding of. Okay, if I keep eating McDonald's, I'm not gonna look fantastic with my top off. If I eat a little bit more salad than I normally do, if I start all of these things, but it's actually implementing that into their life, isn't it? The behaviour change.
I think the funniest thing,
the purpose of coaching isn't it?
Yeah,
I think the funniest thing with food though as well is the only thing coaches probably really have to help clients with is getting them to avoid as many fitness healthy foods as possible. You know, like the skinny stuff. It's just the sauces are just awful chemicals which like ruin your food. The chocolate bars are just chocolate bars. Like all they are is like, rather than being a Mars bar, it's the equivalent of half a Mars bar. But it's all right because then you can have two. Like, and it's getting people to realise that like, that's a load of rubbish. Like one I was talking about with my clients is like protein bars. I know they've come on a bit. Carb killers are nice, but they're not as nice as a proper chocolate bar. So I would say like, if you like them and you feel like you need a bit more protein, have one. But if we can get your protein in from other food, that means you can have a normal chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And you can just have that because that's what we want you having. Yeah. Not if you're having carb killers and protein shakes all day, you're failing. And we're failing.
Can you, like, when you've gone from obviously struggling with your own eating and you putting webinars on and realising, shit, I've probably got a problem here. How did you get through that, and are you fully through that?
I wouldn't say I'm fully through it, yeah. But do you know what? I personally don't think anyone who has a bad relationship with food is ever going to be just done with it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's having that bit more freedom and having that bit more understanding, and almost, I think you put a post up which was really good lately, and it was you like when you were like that photo shoot ripped, and then you like, I think you just finished swimming, was it?
Yeah,
and you were like,
about,
this body, like,
yeah,
felt like shit, didn't do anything.
Yeah,
this body can do all this, and I think it's half getting into that side of it, like, you know, realizing that it's not all about how lean you can get, how many abs you can get out, and instead just enjoying life with it. So I think I'm definitely like well through it, where I'm not panicked about it anymore. But while I was teaching, I was like, oh, but I think it gave me more, I think it worked on twofold. One, it gave me more, like, I need to learn more about this, and I need to do this, because then I'm doing this. But I think all our clients who come to us for reasons. And mine was because, like, I can connect with them on that, so they know that. So I was like, so it's going to save them as well.
Yeah,
but it made me get more people in as well. It made me look into it. It made me deep dive into it. Like, had a therapist with it for a while to, like, talk about it and be like, this is it. And, like, I think the more then kind of traits you learn with it, tricks you learn with it, they all build until it's just, like, natural.
Yeah.
And I equate that a lot to, like, getting your steps in. Like, when I first got a Fitbit, I was like, oh, I am busy non-stop. I reckon I do 15,000 steps a day. Like, minimum. Got it. From when I started teaching to the end of the day, I'd do like 1,000, 2,000 steps. And I was like, wow, I don't move. So then I naturally built it up. And now I will average between like 15 to 20,000 steps a day without trying.
Yeah.
But it's because, like, I've got a standing desk. It's not like I go, right, need to go on a walk.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a standing desk. I'm always moving about. I'm always fidgeting. And I'm naturally always fidgeting because I've made myself do it to the point where I just always am. And I think it's the same with stuff like food. It's not like you're like, right, oh, I've got a problem, I'll change it. It's like, right, I've got to kind of solve this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll solve this tiny little thing. And then I'll solve this tiny little thing. And then all of a sudden, you're not even thinking about that first one because you're just doing it naturally.
Just building habits, isn't it?
I talk about with clients, like, it's about going to bed. Like, if you think about going to bed, you just go up the stairs, don't you? You don't think about it. But if you took that staircase away, 95% of people would be sleeping on the couch. Like, it's such a simple thing. It's take it away, it's gone. And it's the same with anything. We have to, like, build those steps so it's just easy then, and we don't think about it ever again.
I said this, I think I'd done a video on it today, but I was having a conversation with a client who was struggling to, like, nail down on, like, a certain meal every day. I was like, just this week, just eat the same thing every day. Just for your breakfast, just eat the same thing every day. And you were like, but what if I get bored? I was like,
don't give a fuck.
Like, just eat it. Just trust me. I was like, where do you brush your teeth? You brush your teeth in the bathroom every morning, don't you? Do you put your toothbrush in the same place? Do you put toothpaste in the same place? Do you stand in the same place? Right? Do you need to think about brushing your teeth in the morning, or do you just get up and walk in the bathroom? Right? Because you're doing it all the same. It's not going to be a habit if every day you eat in a different position, you go to a different room, like, you're picking a different meal, you're thinking about what a different meal is. Like, just do that now.
I think that's another thing that's a problem in the fitness industry. When you start dieting, when you start counting your calories, you have to have all these different meals. But the same people who had all these different meals had Cocoa Pops for their breakfast for 5 years on the trot. But now they need a different breakfast for every day of the month. Because they're on this diet and they don't want to get bored. Where it's just like, no, just find that breakfast that you like. And then at the weekends, have a different breakfast to shake it up. But during the week, like, if you weren't dieting, if you weren't counting your calories, you would probably have the same thing every single morning.
It's this. I think the first time I ever heard this phrase, I think you told me about it, decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue, yeah.
It's like, I'm busy as fuck. Everyone's busy as fuck. Like, there's so much stuff going on. The last thing you want to be doing is spending 20 minutes on MyFitnessPal trying to fucking work out your calories. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I've gone onto a meal plan recently, and oh my God, like first of all, just the level of efficiency I've now got in the working day has just gone up because I'm not wasting time and using my brain power to fucking work out what I'm going to eat and scouring the cupboards to find something that fits my macros. But now the accuracy that I'm able to bring to my actual nutrition compliance is bang on every day because I've just made a meal plan. And the breakfast is the same every day. Second meal is very similar, but the only difference is one day it's fruit and fibre cereal, one day it's cornflakes. Then I have a normal meal, and the only difference is the meat, and it just depends on whatever meat I've defrosted. And then the post-workout's always the same, and if I'm not training, it's pretty much exactly the same. Post-workout is the carb source and a protein shake. If I'm not training, it's just the protein shake, and then the final meal is just the meat sauce rotated again. And it's literally almost exactly the same every day, but I rotate the vegetables and rotate the meats, and that's it. And I don't have to ever think about food because it's become so habitual for me. Food's in the same place every time.
Yeah.
Don't have to think about it. Just no decision fatigue at all. So now the efficiency through the day and the ability to be compliant with nutrition is just through the roof.
Even like, because I'm not as robotic as that, and like some of my clients can't be that religious with that. But doing that and then just having one meal where you get a bit creative.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like my last meal of the day is always something different because I like cooking. I like cooking food. I enjoy like making new stuff. So, but then that's all I've got to think about. Yeah. And I look forward to that meal. And that's what I always say to people is like, a lot of people don't care about every single meal in the day. Yeah. It's like no one gets up at like, some people get up in the morning. It's like, I love breakfast. Like you've got a breakfast that you love. You don't really care about lunch. You just need it to eat because you're hungry. Yeah. And you don't really care about tea or something like that. So I always say to them, like, what's the meal you couldn't go without? Is it breakfast? Is it a lunch? Do you go somewhere for lunch? Do you go somewhere for tea? Right, okay. Yeah. Keep that one as whatever you want it to be. Yeah. And then let's look at these other ones that you don't really care about.
It always just comes back to the same shit, though. It depends on the person.
Yeah. I think it's all about planning though, isn't it? Yeah. Like that's the key, like that's probably like a little bit too intense for me. Yeah. I think that's what I've done in the past.
So for me, I get frustrated because I have to waste time working out food.
Oh yeah, and I think that's
someone who's got the extra time and they prefer to find, like, I know Rachel always puts on a story like, oh, you can get this for like 70 calories, you can do you can do that. And my mum's on the fucking Courtney Black thing and she's looking at all these recipes. Yeah. I'm just like, that thing, that
doesn't work for someone who sees the world like the Matrix, though, does it? Just ones everywhere.
That crumpet.
Because I have seen the post where Isaac puts salt in a cereal and I thought, that's too far for me.
That crumpet with Biscoff and fucking, like, you fucking cracked an egg on your crumpet and fry it. And it's just like, yeah, that's great. But like, who the fuck's got time for that? How I haven't got 20 minutes to cook me breakfast. Like,
do you know what it is?
It's ridiculous.
You're not a good cook as well, I'll be honest. Like,
no, lads, no. You've just seen that one video where I fucked it up because I was in a different kitchen. I had no utensils. Oh. And I was cooking microwave rice in a pan, in a frying pan.
Just that whole video has scarred me for life. Like, I was a chef for a couple of years, so like I enjoy cooking and I'm quite quick at cooking anything. Like, me and Rach can knock something up quite quick and it be fairly intricate, nice meal, yeah. And you sent me that. He was like, I'm going to do a quick... Was it you're going to do like a quick way to do like a post-workout meal or something and put it up as a video? He was like, I'm going to send it over. Let me know what you think.
No, that's not what happened at all. I said, lad, I just recorded this video. I fucked the meal up. Do you still think I can post it?
That's, well, yes.
Okay, so I would have posted that. That's more. That's going to get more viral.
You really should have posted it. And I was just watching.
Here's what I eat in a day. Sign up now.
Could you see you? Was Angel videoing you, or were you videoing the food? Angel was videoing you.
She was videoing me.
Yeah. So like the whole way through it, he's going, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why have you not got a spatula? Because you were cooking in a kitchen, and he was like,
oh, it was ridiculous.
There was no microwave, or it was like, you had microwave rice, and there was no microwave, and he was like,
it was ridiculous. I was cutting vegetables.
No microwave?
She doesn't believe in microwaves.
That's a whole other episode. But
so it was just a joke. So like the frying pan was like that big. I was cooking like 500 grams of mince. I was trying to cook vegetables with it. I had a steak knife to cut the fucking vegetables. I didn't even have a chopping board. It was like a plate. It was just a joke. So the veg was flying everywhere when I was cutting it. The fucking mince went out on the side because when I was stirring it, because the frying pan was so small. And then I tried to takeaway. I tried to cook the fucking microwave rice in the pan and put too much water in, so it went like slop in and it was just a piss take. So I never ended up but normally that's what your opinion is of my cooking.
That scarred me for life. Yeah, that's how you cook every day. When I think about you cooking food, that's what I see now.
When I now cook in my parents, my mum comes in every time and goes, "Oh, that smells so nice. That looks so nice." Like I'm not actually a bad cook. Like when I make a proper meal. You
need to cook food for me, don't you? I think you need to cook me a meal.
Yeah, I will.
Be a whole episode for you.
Yeah. When I make a proper meal, go to the butcher's, get me meat. Like, season it well. It's. I mean, it's not amazing.
Yeah.
It's not like fucking Michelin star chef, but it's very nice.
You wouldn't have to work very hard for it to be better than that video you sent me.
No.
It's funny that you should post that. You should go and find that and post that. That was good. I think one question to finish is probably, I mean, that was my favourite one on the list that we ask you. But your one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self. I really like that question. You thought that, didn't you?
I did.
Sick.
Paul.
So you, Paul,
I've got loads of advice for myself.
Take those risks earlier.
So yeah. So with that one, like I think it's just I think I knew maybe 2-3 years into teaching. That's where I got probably into my health in the first year teaching. 2-3 years in, I was like, do you know what? Wouldn't mind being a PT, see what that's like. And I think if I would have went earlier, I would have I'd be even more cemented and stuff like that. And I think it's that idea. I probably knew for 5 years before I properly took that jump into it.
Yeah.
Where, and it's all little things like that. So now I take probably too many risks now. Risks like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. And then I go, oh, that one didn't work. Oh, well, next one. But I think it's that idea of there isn't that much, unless you're being an absolute idiot with it, there isn't that much that can go wrong.
Yeah.
When you take a risk, you're like, oh,
I think
it's always the things that you don't do that you regret, and that's what when they interview people who are on a deathbed, they always say I regret the things that I didn't do. So even if you take a risk and it fails massively, you will have either paid off or you've learned a valuable lesson from that risk that didn't work, and now you can use that information and knowledge to make better decisions in future. So either way, if you're on the fence, I always just say, just fucking do it.
I think that's as long as you're assessing it and you're thinking, right, what can I get from this? What can I do? I think taking those risks is a big one. Especially I think when you start listening to podcasts of all those successful people, they all just took risks.
Yeah.
Even fella that Jack mate, I don't know whether you listen to that Happy Hour podcast. He was a YouTuber and then he just slagged off other YouTubers, become famous off that, and now he's got a podcast where he interviews all celebrities. But he said he spent 3 years where his mum was like, "You're gonna get a job," and he was like, "No, I'm just gonna make YouTube videos." And they were like, "But that's not a job." He was like, "But I think it can be." And she was like, "How?" He's like, "I don't know, but I just think it can be." And then he earned something like 60 quid a month, and she was like, "That's nothing." He was like, "Yeah, but everyone would want to earn 60 quid off YouTube," and now he's like he just does a podcast. Ricky Gervais is on it, and he's chatting.
Sick. You got to do what you can sometimes feel it inside.
Yeah,
to make a decision.
That Steve Bartlett episode I listened to yesterday, where he was 99% of people, when they were asked about big life-changing traumatic events, wouldn't take that away because of the lessons they learned from the thing that happened. And he was he said something really interesting which kind of stuck at me. He was if you hadn't have learned the lesson, he was I believe that some things happen in life to teach you a lesson, and if you don't learn the lesson from that thing, something will keep happening until you learn that lesson. He said, so it has to happen. You have to go through these things. So take the risk. And I'm not going to learn how to be a really successful entrepreneur until I've had a business fail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I saw the thing on Instagram and said you'll keep getting hurt until you become strong enough to I can't remember exactly what it said, but that pain that you feel makes you stronger until you're strong enough to actually succeed in the thing. Nice.
Nice way to round it off there.
Thank you, Martin. Where can everyone find you?
Probably the best place is Instagram, at TheTeachersPT.
Nice.
Really honed in the marketing.
I know, very, very specific.
Very specific.
Have you got any shameless plugs? Have you got any cool programs coming up?
No, not really. Just kind of ticking away on the online. Like, nice. I think Instagram's definitely the best place to find me. Like, I am on Facebook, I am on Twitter. I don't, apart from the tweets that I make to put on Instagram, I don't think I use Twitter at all.
I'm the same.
I once had a message in there of someone being like, hey, can you help me with such and such? And I thought, I only saw it like 6 months after being put because I never checked my Twitter DMs. And at the other side of me was like, what on this page has made you think this is the man? Like, he posts 12 tweets in an hour and then we don't see him for 2 months.
Inconsistency. That's the coach I need.
Just go look at Instagram, you'll see me. Like, but yeah, I think just Instagram probably is the main one if people follow me on that. And then from there, just kind of, that's where I'd say everything comes from. That's where everything goes. And I'm always in DMs to chat to people and talk that way.
Boss, thank you for joining us.
I know, it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
We'll have to get you back on at some point.
Yeah, sounds good.
See you soon, man.
Bye now.